Welcome back to Champ Talk, guys. And like we ask all episodes, please, if you get value out of this, share this with somebody. Send them a share so they can hear the impact that we try to make on Champ Talk. And also, if you could ever be so kind, like, subscribe to the channels. We're averaging, about 500 to 1,000 views on our YouTube channels, but we only have about 200 subscribers. So there's a huge percentage of you guys that could easily just hit that subscribe button. What that does, that helps us get mentioned more in the algorithms, that helps us get a little bit farther reach. And that way Champ Talk can, be in everybody's radios. And then again, if you're ever so kind and could even do one more solid, please hit a review. Let me know what's going on. So I apologize. I'm chopping up with my words right away. My mind's a little bit all over the place. We're doing this episode because we're a little bit behind. So we're kind of squeezing one in. So I'm going to basically touch down on what we talked about on my last solo episode. And that is kind of some of the principles and rules that I think that you should follow and do as far as being a man, being what a real man in today's society looks like. And last episode, that we talked about it, we talked about having a plan. We talked about, minimizing or eliminating your video game, your porn addictions, and just learning how to be awkward, learning how to be, in the mix of things, how to work a room, how to talk to people, how to actively listen, things like that. This episode, I want to spin it a little bit further and talk about some other points that I think is important, and one being probably the main thing. And I'm not going to bore you with the health side of it, because I know a lot of you guys hear health all the time, but your health has to be priority. And it's not going to be a full episode about it. So don't tune me out right away. Let's get through it. But let me give you my take on health, right? You guys obviously know I own SPY MMA and Fitness. This is where the studio's at. Health is very important to me. Combat sports is very important to me. Vitality is very important to me. But what is really mostly the main substance-filled reason on why I'm always about health and nutrition and things like that is performance, okay? Performance. I need to be performing at a high level all the time. So obviously exercising is going to give you the energy, is going to give you the push, is going to, regulate your hormones. It's going to do a lot of great things, make you feel stronger, more confident, things like that. You look good, you feel good, all those things. But also having the ability to have the energy, the mental focus, the clarity, all of these things, especially in today's world where you have so many distractions, you have so many things that are, taken away from your focus, stimulating your brain, keeping you up at night and all that. Your energy levels during the day or night, whenever you're performing the most, needs to be at a high level, right? You need to be able to think clearly. You need to be able to focus. You need to be able to have the ability to get through the day instead of finding that 2 o'clock, crash, or, anticipating when it's going to be 5 o'clock so that you can get off. It's something that's going to help propel you into decision-making. It's going to help propel you into reliability. You're going to be able to be viewed as somebody that, someone looks at and respects. A lot of times I've heard this from countless entrepreneurs that, when a guy or gal walks in for an interview for a high-performing sales job or high, standing, I can't think of the word again. English is hard today. A high standing position that you have at the company, employers judge them on the way that their health looks. Do this guy or gal, work out? Are their clothes neat? You know what I mean? Do they fit well? Do they seem like, and I know that's kind of shallow when you think about it, but if you take it to another side, look, man, somebody that takes their health serious and somebody that's willing to put in the discipline and put in the work, that translates into their jobs, into their sales positions, into their management positions, into their CEO positions. So you have to have some of that to take in consideration. And obviously we know that there's, thyroid issue, hormone issues and all that. But you could tell when somebody completely doesn't work out and completely doesn't value their health versus someone who's at least trying and at least making the attempt. And that's what I think really translates when you're talking to a leadership role or talking to just being respected. But then that performance side of it where, you not only do you get the position, not only are you in with the job or whatever we're talking about, we can generalize so many things, but you're also being able to perform that job and execute that job at high levels. And I think that's very, very critical. And your food, what you're putting in your body is really important. Here's the thing, guys. Look, if I'm a man and I'm the representation of what today's modern man looks like, and I'm trying to pass on what it takes to become a man, my sons, my daughters, they're going to follow my footsteps on whatever example that I set. So if nutrition or health or working out isn't a value of mine, it's not going to be a value of theirs. There's always a chance it's not going to be a value of theirs anyway, but at least I'm increasing the odds by living through example and being what people want to, being what they need to see, and being able to share that knowledge. My daughter, she's, you know what I mean, just decided she wants to take a different health kick. My other daughter just got back into the gym. You know, one's 26, one's 19. You know, these are things that they would have maybe not even thought about or considered had they not have examples in front of them to say, hey, well, you know, dad's old ass is out here doing his thing and he looks pretty good. So, but the nutrition side, what you put in your body is critical, because at the end of the day, we're being fed poison. I mean, bottom line, we're being fed fucking poison. And it's cheaper to go get something that's bad for you at a fast food restaurant with 60 some ingredients in a fucking cheeseburger or a chicken sandwich than it is to sit here and create, you know, make your own meals and meal prep and eat good quality foods. And even with that being said, there's still foods that you're buying at grocery stores and buying places that are just not fucking good for you, right? And we could spend a whole podcast talking about what foods are good for you and what foods aren't. But overall speaking, I kind of follow these rules. I don't go to fast food restaurants. I don't drink soda. I don't drink anything with color in it like red or grape or things like that. I do got a little bit of an energy drink, you know, issue and coffee issue, but I try to minimize that. I know they're not the greatest, but you know what I mean? We all got our vices. I also try my hardest not to eat out of a box. If it comes in a box, it's probably not good for you. You know what I mean? Try to shop around the outside edges of the grocery store. You know, I want to eat good meat. I want to eat vegetables. And I'm going to tell you guys something that I haven't shared with anybody. I'm even having issues with my numbers and my health, even doing all that, right? Some things are hereditary. Some things that you think are good are not. You know, some cheats and some little, you know, concessions that you make with yourself, with your diets, can still bite you in the butt when you're, you know, doing a deep dive into your real numbers. I did this, I think they're called genetic methylania test, some shit like that, right? Where basically you send off your shit, your spit, and your blood, right? And they look at your DNA and they test it and they tell you what foods you're sensitive to, you know, how you're aging from the inside out, you know, what foods to avoid. What are signs of this type of, you know, illness or disease to come, where you're really winning at, you know what I mean? And it gives me a breakdown. And I got to say, I was pretty disappointed in the numbers considering how healthy I live and how active I am. One of my biggest issues that I have is recovery and sleep. Like, I just don't get the proper amount of sleep. And that could be another conversation we have, but that's leading into a couple of gut issues. That's leading into some cholesterol issues. That's leading into some potential heart issues. And I'm not saying I have any of these things. I'm just sharing with you that the numbers are saying, hey, this is what you need to start looking at. This is called preventative care, not reactive care. So for me, I'm disappointed because I'm doing all the right things and I'm still seeing, you know, numbers that need correction and really major corrections. Like, I have to really switch up my diet, switch up my recovery, switch up my activity and move forward, maybe potentially add some supplements in there. You may hear me say, well, Branden, shit, you're doing all the right things and you're still down, you know, where you don't want to be. What's the fucking point? Well, the point is, what if I wasn't paying attention to my health? I get my blood work done every quarter. I don't wait a year. I get it done every quarter. My numbers are always good when it comes to my blood work with my primary doctor, right? And I know I'm going down a health rabbit hole here, but I just want you to track with me. As a man, it's my responsibility to make sure I'm here for my fucking kids and my family, for my business, for my people that work for me, for my members who support me. As a man, it's important that I sit in front of you guys and talk to you guys and give you guys game and kick all this stuff to you to help you, and also live by the shit that I say. That's being a man. I'm living up to the code that I'm supposed to be preaching to everyone. And if I'm owning a fucking gym and I'm not living healthy or living up to the standards that I'm supposed to be living, then I'm a fraud. Now, that doesn't mean that I might not be fluffier in certain times of the year, or I might be on it a little bit more than others. Yeah, we're humans, right? But had I not paid attention to my numbers in the first place, I would be so far behind. And with my primary care doctor and my physical, excuse me, my numbers are always really good. There's a couple of things that, we got to keep an eye on that we want to try to mitigate, but they're always in a really good range, especially for my age. I'll be 45 by the time you guys see this episode, okay? My birthday was last Monday. So my point of what I'm bringing up is that's just your primary care numbers that they do a simple panel. That's not getting into some of the deeper issues that you may have. So you got to go above and beyond to find out what you really need for your health and for your body than just what they give you at the primary doctors. You know what I mean? I'm not one of these tinfoil hat people where, the government's out to get us and all that. Look, it's all rigged against us. We got to find a way. It's always been. But I am one of those people saying, look, I know that I go into my primary care office. They see thousands of people a week. I'm just a number. Okay, it's my responsibility to keep myself healthy, not a fucking pill to fix me, not somebody to tell me what I should and shouldn't do that doesn't live the same life that I do. I am not like majority of the people that walk into that primary care's office. It's my responsibility as a man to make sure my life and myself is healthy. And the more that I go down this trek and find out about my health and find out about my life and look towards performance and vitality and longevity, the more I'm able to educate others, especially my children and my families and the people that I care about and want to lead. So that's incredibly important to be able to own that as a man today and say, hey, this is my responsibility. I need to look good. I need to feel good. And I need to actually be good on the inside and out. And I think when you do things, you get a little bit more respect. Now we're not talking about, your gym bros that, live and die in the gym and all that. That's fine too. That's their thing, right? I'm not talking about somebody like myself that does, probably 14 to 16 sessions a week when it comes to combat sports. I'm a gym owner. It's my business. I teach a lot of classes. I love it still. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just saying, hey, I'm committed to a regimen 5 days a week. I'm moving my body. I'm eating clean 90% of the time. You know what I mean? I'm getting outside. I'm being active and I'm being a leader and I'm being who I'm supposed to be for the people that I'm showing up for. That's all I'm saying. And you have to take that serious as a man, because as we have shifted in the past 20 years, we've become more indoors people. We become more computer and phone screens people. We become less communicative. We become less active. We become less socially invested in each other. Even religion, you look at religion, like, there used to be guidelines and rules to how we did, worship God and worship, our higher power. And now, because of the access to cell phones and smartphones now, I mean, there's really no time in the world. So we don't have a time to pray and have a time to go to church. Like, we're always on our phones, right? And that's just one thing of many examples. So I know I'm buzzing a little bit and trying to, going around with some points, but I really want to drive home that being a man requires you to take care of your health. Your body's your temple. You need to take care of that nutritionally wise, physically wise, mentally wise, recovery wise. You know what I mean? Active, being competitive. And that segues into competition, being competitive, wanting to win, okay? A man doesn't just accept what's given to him. A man goes after what he wants and he conquers, okay? Now, I say that and people are like, oh, yeah, you little, chauvinist or misogynist. No. I'm not talking about conquering fucking villages and people, motherfuckers. I'm talking about you go out here, you want a new car, you go conquer the opportunity to go get a new car, right? You want that sports car, you want that house, you want that promotion at work, you want that lady. You go out here and you conquer the steps to go out here so you can get a chance to talk to that person or get in front of those people or earn the things that you want. And being competitive, there's nothing wrong with it, right? I'm 50-50 on this statement where they say comparison is the thief of joy. Correct. Because if I'm comparing myself to other people, instead of just paying attention to my journey and saying, hey, I'm where I need to be, I'm moving at the pace I need to move, yeah, I could be robbing myself of my joy because I'm comparing myself to everybody who might had a better or more advanced break than I did, or might have been in the game longer than I have, or just knew things that I didn't, or were more skilled, more talented. When I'm saying that, yes, I can't compare myself to everybody trying to be somebody I'm not. I got to stick to my core. That's the 50% part I feel. The other 50% that I'm half and half on was like, nah, I need to compare myself. See, my kids need to know what a loser looks like. If you've got a kid in school and that kid is a loser, they need to see that. Does not mean that loser cannot turn it around. We want him to turn it around. Does not mean we put that person in a box or a category and just ship them out and say, you're no good to us. No. But if the kid is a loser and he comes from loser parents, right? My children need to know that. They need to know that's not what I want to be in life, okay? Just as much as they see a winner and they see somebody who's winning, they see somebody who's got integrity, somebody who's walking an example, they need to know that, hey, that's the person that I admire and I like things that they do. I want to emulate some of the traits that they have. These are important factors that you have to do. So I'm 50-50 on the, comparisons of thief of joy, because one, yes, we can compare too much and kind of get lost in the sauce, but also we need to see the difference between winners and losers in life. We need to be able to celebrate our wins as men. Have you noticed that you're kind of like almost discouraged to celebrate your wins by others? You go losing 50 pounds. You're overweight. You're 30 pounds overweight. You lost 50 pounds. You look great. You tell everybody, man, I'm fucking proud of myself, dude. I lost 50 pounds, dude. I've been killing it in the gym. I've been busting my ass. I've been eating healthy. You notice how like the haters are like, must be nice. Oh, I can't go to the gym because I don't like people and all this bullshit that people want to spit out their fucking necks. You notice how people act like that? Or maybe you bought a new car, right? You got a new watch and you're proud of it. I'm not talking about boasting and being braggart and yo, look at me, look at what I got. I'm better than I'm like, yo, I'm proud of my win. And people are like, must be nice. You know that bullshit statement I fucking hate. Living the dream, huh? You know what I mean? Like, dude, jack me off already. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like how people put you in a box and try to shit on you when you're just proud of your wins. Now, obviously, you could take it too far and, jam it down people's throats, and that's never attractive. But we've developed ourselves into a place where we don't want to we don't want to celebrate our wins anymore because we're fearful of what our family or friends or haters are going to say about us because we're happy about our winning. And then people are like, well, all you see on social media is the wins. Well, who the fuck wants to pick up social media and look at people losing? I don't want to look at people. I don't want to look at my favorite fucking person on social media and watch them lose, right? I want to, granted, a little lesson in there and humility and how they bounce back and inspiration from a loss is great. I don't want to fucking look at people losing. I got enough fucking losers I see in life. I don't want to look at no more people losing. I want people looking at people winning. And you notice how people discourage it. Well, as men, real men, we should be able to celebrate our wins, be proud of our wins, and we should be able to fucking gas other men up and push other men into being happy for their wins. And, hey, all right, buddy, we heard it enough. All right, great job. You won. Go do it again. Okay, I don't want to hear it anymore. Be able to hold them accountable and check them when they're getting a little bit too far ahead of ourselves because we all do it. But society's creating this stigma that you can't celebrate your wins. Fucking Super Bowl champions have whole parades when they win the Super Bowl. Cities lock down the whole city and have a fucking parade for somebody winning the Super Bowl. You mean to tell me I can't celebrate that I lost 50 fucking pounds? Give me a break. But as today's man, you kind of fall into that. You guys that are struggling with not knowing where to go and who to be, you kind of fall into that page, don't you? Right? Like, let's think about what I'm talking about. You kind of accepting of the foods they give you. You make excuses that it's too expensive or you don't have the time, right? All this bullshit. You do have the time. Look at your quick test. Go pull up your iPhone. Go pull up your Samsung. Go look at your time spent each day or each week on your screen. You got the fucking time, dog. You got the time to meal prep. You got the time to grocery shop. You got the time to cook. Okay? Go look at your screens. There ain't nothing on that fucking screen. And I love social media. I make a lot of money from it. You guys are probably watching this now on social media. I'm not anti, but there's got to be a governor on it, okay? But anyway, you'll make these excuses that you don't have time to eat healthy. You don't have time to go to the gym. You don't have time to this. So you fall into that divot, that little spot where everybody else is at, where you just kind of meandering along, eating what they give you, not healthy, not feeling good, limited on your mental stimulation because you're not around new people. You're not doing hard things, lifting heavy shit, going in the trenches of choking someone out or sparring with somebody, right? What else? You fall into that victim of, or you fall into that kind of not victim, fall in that little space of, you know what I mean? You don't want to celebrate your wins. You're worried about what everybody's going to say about you. You worry about who's going to say what, and if you're looking like a braggart, if you're looking like you're cocky, you're arrogant. Hey, remember, You know what I mean? I don't want to see the champion of the, UFC go in there wishing and hoping he's going to win Saturday night. I want to know that motherfucker wants to fucking go out there and get busy. He's the baddest motherfucker in the world, and he believes that shit. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see some fucking, on fight night at least, some humble ass champion like, oh, I hope I'll win tonight. No. I'm just like, yo, put him in front of me. I'm going to knock him down. But we fall back into those little habits, don't we? We fall back into those little ways that we don't want to sit here and ruffle any feathers. We don't want anybody to we don't want to cause no trouble and anybody see us. You fall victim in going out here and conquering and you fall short of going out here and conquering and going after what you want, right? You make excuses why you can't afford that car, or while you're, out of the watering holes every week, the local watering troughs where you're getting drunk at the bars and, spending money on Zins and fucking bullshit, weed and shit like that, right? I'm not trying to be anti any of that shit. The shit costs money, right? Fucking, I've never smoked a cigarette in my life. Pack of cigarettes like $10 now? You fucking kidding me? Most people go through most hard smokers go through a pack of cigarettes a day, maybe 2 days. $70 fucking $50 for cigarettes that are killing me? Dude. There's ways that you can save money. There's ways that you can add to your bottom line by just squeezing what you have. And I know that there's other issues where people are completely tight. I know. Listen, I'm talking to the majority, not the minority. And if you want to stay living an average life and you want to stay trying to be a real man and looking at real men and wishing you could be that, then you keep making these average fucking excuses and you keep putting yourself in the average space because that's all you're going to do. That's all you're doing. It's not anybody else's responsibility to give a fuck about me, dog. It's not nobody's responsibility to give a fuck about me. It's my responsibility to make sure I'm where I need to be and being who I need to be for the people that love me, care about me, look up to me, and depend on me. Simple as that. As simple as that. And that mindset, it goes back with this book back here I got, you know what I mean, by Jocko, extreme accountability or extreme ownership, excuse me. I'm owning everything that happens to me in my life. I'm owning it all. I get hit by cancer. God forbid, I can't predict that, but I can own the way I respond. I can own how I fight. I can own how I research. I can own how I go down the healing and down the way of making this shit better. And if it's terminal, I can own the way I'm going to live my life for the rest of my days. And you don't have to have cancer to make that decision. You don't have to have some sort of major shit go down in your life. Guys, I live a good fucking life, man. And I'm not trying to act like I'm all that. Very confident with myself. Very confident in my skin. Doesn't mean I don't have insecurities. Doesn't mean I don't second guess myself. Doesn't mean I don't have self-doubt, negative talk sometimes. But those are just moments that I have that I work through and get through. They're not symptoms or ailments or diagnosis or, it's just what people go through, man. People have those measures. I've never suffered from depression. I know people who have. I'm not diminishing or devaluing anything that somebody's went through. But for me, I've always had a fighter's chance. To me, I've been sad, been fucked up for, periods of time, been really down. I'm not going to fucking sit here and wallow in my thoughts. My thoughts will kill me. I'm not going to wallow in my thoughts and sit here and go down a rabbit hole of, poor me and then it's never going to get better. I'm going to go out here and take some action and fucking punch my way out of this fucking feeling. Same with anxiety. I've had anxious moments. I've had moments where, I'm nervous or I'm like, holy shit, what's going on? I've never had anxiety where it's crippled me. I know that people do have that. I know. However, what are you going to do? You're gonna accept some pill from some doctor and live on that for the rest of your life and hope that it gets manageable? No, you're going to fight your way out of it. Fucking people been running from fucking animals in the wild. You mean to tell me they don't have anxiety? You mean to tell me that our ancestors who were running from monsters in the jungle and in the desert and in the swamps, you're telling me they didn't have anxiety? Thinking about what something was going to kill you every single fucking day? Of course you have anxiety. What do? You sit there and be prey, or you go out here and conquer? You guys fall into that. You guys fall into that realm of what society, what your conditioning has made you feel. I got news for you, men. There are other men out there that are seeking and looking and attracting other real men to help build communities, to help build societies, to help build families, to raise these children, to honor our wives, to be real fucking men out there. There's men out there seeking it, and you don't have to be that fucking dude right now. You can work towards that, but you got to make these decisions. You got to make these decisions now. another thing that really bothers me, and I'll give you a little bit. My wife gets on my motherfucking nerves. Let me go on Champ Talk and on record. My wife gets on my motherfucking nerves. That woman is so difficult to deal with. She's the love of my life. And I could only imagine, to her, I'm probably equally the same. I probably get on her nerves. But you know what you won't hear me? You know what you won't hear me say? I got to ask my wife. I might have to ask my wife if, we can have people over because she might not feel like having company. I don't got to ask my wife to make decisions to go get loans, to go buy something, to go do something. I include my wife because we're a team, but I don't need to ask my wife for permission to go live my life. Something else I don't do, and this really pisses me off. I don't blame my fucking shortcomings on my wife. I don't blame it. I don't blame my shortcomings on my wife or why I failed or if she's holding me back or nothing. I go where the fuck I want to go. I do what the fuck I want to do. No one said because I got married, I'm in captive to another person. That's insecurities. Now, there are respects that we have in our mutual relationship. There are boundaries and things that are non-negotiables, which is discussed or learned by trial by fire. But overall, my wife can be the pain in the ass all she wants. I'm going to respect her, and I'm also going to be a man and do what I want. And she has the same right too. I've never been a jealous guy. No, excuse me. I was a jealous guy when I was an adolescent. Everybody is. Everybody learns how fucking weird that is. But once I got, in adulthood and, out of some relationships that I made those mistakes, learned from them, I could care less. Like, clearly nobody's going to be disrespected. I'm not no cuck going to sit in a chair and watch somebody, mac up on my girl. But at the same time, live your life. Go do you. You got hit on? That's awesome. Fucking that's flattering. I'm glad you did. You need that little confidence boost. Oh, you want to go to Portugal? Fine, go ahead, have fun. Who you going with? You sure you want to go with her? You sure we go with him? You know what I mean? Like, you ask these questions, but never will say, no, you ain't doing this. No. Men that blame their shortcomings on their wives, you're weak. You're weak men. Get the fuck out of here. It's one of two things. Either you have such lack of integrity that you have fucked up so much in your life that your wife is your mother and she's the only one that can give you permission to go live life, which is a weakness there, or you're lying and you don't have the balls to tell somebody straight up that you don't want to do something and you blame your wife. Either or, it's not a great representation of what a man is, right? With that factor and with that subject, like, you got to be able to go out here and make decisions and be trusted with your decisions. Like, even if they're bad decisions, you have to have some, like, if you make a bad business decision or you make a decision that you think is going to advance your family and it wasn't the greatest decision, right? Even with that, you've got to own the fact that was a decision you made and we got to move and course correct from here on over. You can't sit here and just keep making stupid decisions, bad decisions over and over and over again and expect to be trusted, or not make any decisions at all and look around and expect somebody to save you. Like, as a man, we got to go out here and fucking hunt, dog. We got to go out here and we got to make it happen. We're going to get it wrong sometimes. That's just what it is. And you got to be man enough to be like, yo, fuck, man, I should have done that. My bad. Hey, hun, how can we fix this? Hey, wife, what can we do differently next time so that I can make a better decision? Because you know me, I'm going to fight for my family. But you guys don't even want to make decisions. You guys don't even want to be looked at like as leaders. And again, don't get leadership mixed up with, standing on a platform speaking to congregations or speaking to the masses. I'm not talking about that. You don't have to be a coach. You don't have to be a wartime hero. Those are great roles. But just being a leader is just a man saying, hey, I'm comfortable with my skin. I'm comfortable with who I am. I'm going to make the best decision. I'm going to take care of my family. I'm going to take care of my health. I'm going to take care of my wife. I'm going to honor my wife. And I'm going to go out here and make it happen for my family. That's it. It's simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. And having this thing with your wife where, she can't trust you, you know what I mean? And trust the decisions that you make. That's not on her, dog. That's on you. She can be as insecure as a motherfucker, right? If you haven't laid out the foundation and laid out the expectation and the communication up front, or try to do that and make sure your actions and moves are right, bro, it's not her, it's you. And that's not being a man. not being a man. The other side of that is you got to let her make decisions and let her fail too, and let her be triumphant too. You know what I mean? Your role as a man, and I'm not trying to give relationship advice because I think I'm horrible at them, to be honest with you. Your role as a man is to build up your woman, is to empower your woman, is to make her feel and believe in herself and feel strong and know that she's capable of doing all things because one, she has God in her life, and two, she has you in her life. That's your role. That's your job. And some households, you're going to have an alpha woman, right? You're going to have a woman, in my households, both of us are alpha women, but some households, you're going to have an alpha woman where she's just a dominant creature. She was raised by her daddy. She had brothers. She goes out here and goes get it. That's okay. Okay, you find when you need to give her, put her in her feminine energy, but you can't have two alphas. You can't have two alphas trying to run the household. That's probably the biggest thing my wife and I have struggled with, is both of us want to be the alphas when one of us need to be the leader, one of us need to be the follower, right? And I'm not talking about hierarchy. I'm not talking about one has to be bigger or better than the other. One has to know how to lead. One has to know how to support, right? And as roles can shift and change on certain topics, right? But you have to be secure enough, and you have to be a man to sit here and give that to your woman, give that empowerment to her so that she can go and make decisions and lead and do the best that she can. And you got to trust that she's going to do these things. Okay? There's always these weird fucking situations where, people are just fucking whores and they want to cheat on people, and people have these issues where they're lying in two different lives. You can't prevent that by micromanaging. If a person's going to go do something wrong and get over on you, you can't prevent it. It's going to happen. So at least lead with your best foot. And most of the time, man, when people are cheating, it's coming from a lack of. So at the end of the day, when you're leading with your best foot and you're leading like a man trying to empower this woman, she's going to feel satisfied. She's going to want to make you happy. She's going to make your family happy. She's going to make me proud of herself. And she's going to get it wrong. She's going to make mistakes. It's going to happen. It happens. In the event, you guys don't make it. You guys don't work out. Which, in my opinion, my experience, I think we throw in the towel way too soon. I think that divorces should be more expensive than weddings. I think that we don't really sit down and understand the seasons of a relationship, and we take things so personal, and we our egos get involved, and we don't want to go outside of trying to do better. We don't want to communicate. We don't want to take action, and it's hard. Marriage and entrepreneurship are the two hardest things I've ever done in my life. And probably marriage is the hardest one. But in the unfortunate event you guys split, right? Especially if you have kids. Hey, give her what she wants, dude. Give her what the fuck she wants. A lot of you men are sitting here trying to go through these divorces and these ugly. Now, I'm not saying that there's not these really bad situations. Again, I'm talking to the masses, not talking to the minimal. But I mean, my first wife and I divorced. We had 3 kids. I ain't paid $1 in child support. I ain't paid $1. I gave her what she wanted. I got her back. Hey, we can't be together, but I got your back. Me and my ex-wife butted heads. Me and my ex-wife had 2 different parent strategies. Me and my ex-wife, bash each other behind our backs. We were fucking frustrated with each other. We made all the mistakes that co-parents can make. One of my best friends. I love her to death. She's family. She's always there. And we raised 3 beautiful girls and 3 successful girls by working co-parent. But I didn't pay $1 in my life. I was there. I gave her what she wanted. I was there for my kids. It's cheaper to just give them the fucking house. Give them the shit. You could go buy and do that shit all over again, man. Who are you? You got these fucking balls between your legs. Fucking go out here and fucking be a man. You don't need that shit. You don't need a fucking TV. Like, what did he say? Like Dewey said on Walk Hard, you can take everything, but don't take my monkey. All right? Take the kids, just leave my monkey. But you don't need all that shit, man. You don't need the material. Make her happy. Make those kids feel happy. Part of being a man is in a divorce, and I made this mistake. In a divorce, never talking bad about your spouse, no matter what, in front of your kids is a man's move. And I wish I would have learned that sooner than later. I wish I would have learned that sooner. We talk from our hearts sometimes out of frustration and fear and out of things that happen. You don't ever talk about the woman that's the mother of your children bad to your children. You don't ever bash her. I got guys in here, parents in here that come into my gym And dads, some of them train. I'll fuck these motherfuckers up. I do. I can. I never tell their children that I could beat them. Ever. Ever. Doesn't matter. And now I'm sure if they wanted to, the fight's a fight. They could hurt me if I, did some weird shit like hurt their family. They wouldn't give a fuck about MMA. But when it comes to my world, combat sports, I'm the more trained, the more seasoned person. These are guys, men, but they're newbies. Beat their asses any day of the week, any way I want. Sometimes effortless. But when their little kid comes up and says, "You can beat my dad," I'm like, absolutely not. Your daddy will bust my ass. Your daddy's the man. I'm glad he's here. I'm just teaching him moves. He's already a good fighter. And that's the way you got to be about the kid's mother. Be a man. And these things are integrity things we're talking about. These things are being examples. These are the little things that no one wants to tell you. Everybody wants to tell you, go out here and grind and go out here and be this. No. You know something that's even more important? Manners. Fucking manners. How you treat people in public. How you treat a waiter or a waitress, especially if they fucked your food up. How you handle yourself and conduct yourself online. How you handle yourself with politics. I said this before. We're arguing about fucking politics. Who gives a fuck about politics? You want to argue about politics? Go to your town hall. Go to your county council meetings. Get into local politics. That's the best argument you can have. I'm not trying to shit on anybody, but I'm going to call it for what I'm going to call it. Down here in Salisbury, we've got these, right by the college, we got these protests, right? And one protest is the No Kings protest that you have right in front of the college, right? So the college is right there on the highway, and these No King protesters are out there screaming their shit. And then you got the anti-ICE people out there screaming their shit. And then now the other side come out, the pro Trump and the pro ICE, you know what I mean? And now they're out there doing it and screaming their shit. It's the same fucking shit. Correct me if I'm wrong. Ain't none of that shit changing anything. Y'all can go fucking yell out in the rain all you fucking want to do. And I'm not trying to say you shouldn't exercise your right to protest. There's other ways of getting things done. In my opinion, protests don't work. Boycotts work. Fucking with people's money works. But my point of all this is we're arguing about politics. You're a grown man. You arguing about politics. You're arguing about another man's jersey and name on your back. You're arguing about sports. Like, give me a break. Debates are one thing. There'll be full-fledged fucking threats and violence about fucking politics and fucking sports teams. Bro, these people don't give a fuck about you and know you. Fuck out of here. It's the same shit. So the way you conduct yourself online is a whole big difference. The way you treat people is huge. Manners, excuse me, thank you, hold the door. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about what anybody says about some fucking feminist or some woman or whatever. I'm always paying for dinner. I'm always paying for dinner on a date. Now, when I get with my wife or when we get serious, yeah, we can split she can take care of me sometimes. She can help me out. I can help her out. We can talk about it, but majority of the time I'm paying. That's what I do. I don't give a fuck about that fucking meal. Tell me the logic, gentlemen. You'll bitch about paying for a meal for a woman that you're trying to court and get at or even impress. You'll bitch about that, which should be $50, $100, maybe $200, you know what I mean, depending on how you look at it. But you'll go out to your local bar and spend $50, $100 drinking shots and buying other people's shots, buying men's shots. Are you fucking, hello? You'll go out and you'll buy some fucking coaching program from some dude trying to tell you how to be a man, but you won't pay for a bitch's, excuse me, sorry. You won't pay for a woman's food. Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Get out of here, dude. Get out of here. Yo, hold the door for women. Teach the men how to do that. You know what I mean? Help out the kids. Help out the youth. Help out people. Help out the elderly. Help out the sick. Go out here and listen to people. Man, there's so many things that just add to the man/integrity bucket that you could be doing on a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly basis. And the great thing about all this, guys, is it compounds. It compounds. Don't be a good human when the cameras are on. Don't be a good human when it's convenient for you. Be a good human because you want to get in heaven, or you want to be a person that wants to help improve the community and improve the world. You want to leave a legacy. You want to be respected, admired, and appreciated. You want people to do business with you. Just be kind. Use your manners. Stop fucking arguing. Women argue, guys. Women argue. Women will go back and forth. Bop, 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 bop. You did this. You said that. You should have got there. Well, I heard it. That's what women do. Men, you should be, when it comes to arguing, and I'm guilty of this too, so I'm talking to myself. You should be a man of few words. Person that talks the most tends to get drowned out and watered down with their message. Person that talks the least, something about that old school cowboy that walked into the room back in the old cowboy movies, barely talked, barely said anything, but when he walked in, he said a few words and the whole fucking room sat down and respected that. You know, that's the things that you want to embody as a man. You know, but you guys are falling into these trends and falling into these traps of being conforming to what everybody wants you to be. And that's why you're confused. That's why you're struggling with who should I be today? Who do I be tomorrow? How do I do this? How do I do that? It's very simple basics, very simple logics. Like, dude, be the man that you've always wanted to respect and be like. What does that person do in all areas? Not just the fast cars and, you know, popping bottles and having a bunch of girls. Like, that's cool too. Like, I'm not saying you can't do that either. You know, I believe it or not, looking at me, I didn't do bad with the women, you know, in my day. But I wasn't fucking, you know, and I, you know, I'm like any other guy. I had a roster, right? But I wasn't disrespecting these women. I wasn't using these women. I wasn't shitting on these women. I was very honest. Hey, I'm not a lion that could be tamed. You know what I mean? So when I was single and some of the other bad decisions I made before, I still was honest about who I was. You know, and you know, if that stuff's cool to you, great. If it's not, it doesn't have to be. But you don't have to be a dirtbag and a douchebag and lose your integrity and disrespect people, hurt other people to get over and to win in life. You know, you don't have to be tolerant. You don't always have to turn the other cheek, but you don't have to get over and make everyone feel wrong or be done wrong so you can win. It doesn't work like that. Karma will catch up with you. Karma ain't a bitch. Karma's staring you right in the mirror. Karma will catch up with your ass. Yeah, and then most of the men that are conformative and most of the people that are complacent, you don't even know karma caught up with you. You just think you got a bad hand. No, motherfucker. Karma caught up with you. So I hope this helped out. You know what I mean? I don't plan on doing a third part, and we kind of winged this today. But we talked about last time, you know, all the things that I thought were a big deal. These are the fill in the crevices. These are the fill in the gaps things that I think that get overlooked and not talked about all the time. You know what I mean? And these things are very important when it comes to, you know, being a respectable man and being somebody that people look at, admire, want to learn from, want to do business with, want to love, want to grow a family with, want to lead, you know, follow. Like, these are the important things that I think that are needed in today's world for young men like yourselves that are listening to this, or even older men that fucking have lost their calls or never had an example. These are some tips. And if you guys need any other ideas, message us, hit the review, say something. You know what I mean? I'd love to have a conversation. I'd love to do part 3. Give me something to talk about, you know? So that'll do it for this episode of Champ Talk. Guys, I appreciate y'all so much. I can't thank you enough for tuning in every week, listening every week. You know, I don't give a fuck if it's 2 people or 2 million people. I'm so grateful for the fact that you guys take the time to listen to the shit that I say for 45 minutes and get value out of this. And if you know someone else that'll get value from it, give this episode, send this to them. Please also like and subscribe to the channels. We get 1,000 views an episode, 500 views an episode. We have 200 subscribers. We need more subscribers. So please give the review, share this episode, and if you're ever so kindly, subscribe to the channels. Till next time, guys, what are you doing today to become a champion?